What's up, spectators? Welcome back to an episode of Ace Attorney 6. This may have to be another video that's closer to 20 minutes than it is to 30 minutes, because I have some obligations I have to tend to, which sucks. But hey, it's still better than no video, right? Now, I shall pass judgment upon the criminal Dirk Sadmati. What's this? You shall pass judgment? But your eminence, is that not my role? Hold your tongue. You are but a figurehead before me, the embodiment of law. Consider yourself dismissed. Okay. As Queen of Kurain, I shall now pass judgment upon the accused. Can you dig it? The people love it.
Objection!
You didn't even give me a chance to rebut. Know when you're defeated, lawyer. But just this once, I'm willing to show you the depths of my compassion. Tell me why I should allow these proceedings to continue. Come, convince me. Quick, Apollo. Even if you have to bluff, we've got to keep this trial going. Show her that the crime could have been committed by a third party. How am I supposed to do that? Oh, why don't you start with, how about the timing of Inga's murder? What? This whole case is built on a single premise. That Inga was murdered after Dirk entered the tomb. But what if that's not true? Like, if our assumptions are all wrong? It just might work. Well, don't keep us waiting, defense. Dirk became the prime suspect, because it didn't seem probable that there was a third party at the scene of the crime. But there is another question we should ask ourselves at this time. Was Minister Inga really killed after Dirk entered the tomb? What nonsense is this? Setting aside the assumption that the murder occurred after Dirk arrived on the scene, opens up the possibility of a third party committing the crime. The question before us is, when was Minister Inga really killed? Isn't it possible that, before Dirk even set foot in the tomb, Mr. Inga was already dead? That would certainly make the possibility of a third party more probable. Why, of course! With no evidence, you're right! I fell unconscious right after I entered the tomb. Even if I hadn't, I wouldn't have had a clear line of sight to his body from the entrance. Which means... you wouldn't have noticed his body either way. This scenario is entirely possible. Anything's possible, and so we can't rule out the possibility of a third person committing the crime. I see. Well, that certainly does make sense. So far, so good. This might actually work. Very well. I shall play along with whatever little game you have knocking around in that tiny mind. I was starting to get quite bored of all this. I could do with a distraction. Yes! Let's hear some testimony that will shed light on when exactly the minister was slain. Bailiff, summon Rafa. Surely she has recovered by now. But what about me? Don't I serve a purpose anymore? No. I hope you're feeling better, Your Benevolence. Must I perform the divination seance? What? Oh no, we merely require your testimony this time. How could my testimony be of any value? Your Benevolence? Princess Rafa seems awfully depressed. After what she's been through, summoning her again is like rubbing salt in the wound. Being unable to perform the seance was probably the last straw. I hope she doesn't pass out again. Prosecutor Sadmari, may I ask you something? Of course, Your Benevolence. I've been meaning to ask you this since yesterday. Did you know about Queen Amara? And about me? From where did you hear such a thing? From Mother, and only yesterday. Rafa was carrying on about telling the truth to the people. So I told her what the truth really was. For it is up to a mother, not master, to discipline her child. I see. Be as it may, Your Benevolence, it has no bearing upon our trial here today. So there's no need to let it trouble you. I know. Garen told Rafa about something other than Amara's status. Sounds like it, but what could it be? Rafa, the defense has proposed something preposterous. They somehow think your father was already dead when Dirk entered the tomb. But I believe you can prove them wrong. Are you prepared to do what's required of you? Yes, I'm ready to testify. Very well then, Your Benevolence. Your testimony, if you please. On the day of the murder, I was gazing upon the courtyard from the second floor veranda. Around 2:30 p.m., I saw my father heading for Amara's tomb. Then, at about 2:45, I saw Barbed Head and company enter the courtyard. I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered at about 2:30. Your second floor veranda? She must be talking about that house facing Inga's private residence. So that's the location from which you saw your father, and at about 2:30. Yes, and shortly after that, you people arrived at the royal residence. So after the minister entered Amara's tomb at around 2:30, no one went in or out of there until the murder was discovered. The tomb's closed to outsiders, so no one could have snuck in before the murder. That rules out any possibility of a third party lying in wait to slay my poor husband. Or so she'd like us to believe. Now hear me, you useless lawyer. Cease this charade and bow before me. For I, Queen Garen, shall finally have your head. Forgive me your evidence, but first let us allow the defense to question the witness. Damn right. Hold it! You say you'd been watching the courtyard until we arrived, correct? That seems like an awfully long time. There's much that weighs on my mind. I see. She really does sound troubled. I don't think she ever fully recovered from the previous trial. Your Benevolence? As Crown Princess, you're destined to rule this kingdom one day. That means there'll be many things that you alone must determine. Things like how to keep your people happy and what is true and what is false. And most importantly, what role you must play therein. I wonder if I'm even up to the task. I guess it's not easy being a princess. Your Benevolence? I'd be happy to lend an ear if you'd ever like to talk. Now's not the time to hit on the princess! What would you know of my woes? Do not presume to exceed your station in life! Sheesh, teenagers! Your Benevolence, what did you witness from your veranda? Well, around 2:30 p.m., I saw my father heading for Amar's tomb.
Hold it!
Did your father seem different or troubled in any way? Let me think. There was one unusual thing. There was a shriek emanated from within my father's quarters. After which I witnessed him bolt outside, his countenance drained of its usual color. He screamed and he was looking pale. What do you suppose happened? I know not. Perhaps he had a bad dream. Maybe it was a nightmare about being raked over the coals by the queen. It seems our young lawyer here wishes to hasten his journey to the Twilight Realm. Sorry, that was rude of me. Does the defense believe the witness's last statement to be important? I believe it is. I'd like the witness to add it to her testimony. My father let out a scream and came dashing out of his room, his face pale.
Hold it!
And why do you think he screamed? Was he surprised by someone who didn't belong there? Did anyone else come out? I didn't see anyone else, just my father. That last statement was seriously lacking in conviction. Should I press her on this? Your Benevolence. Yes? This incident was a real shock to us all. It must have been really terrible for you, but I want to let you know I know how you feel. Please stop. You presume too much. It's times like these that you need something to take your mind off things. How about we all go on a picnic together or something? I need no sympathy from you! Go on your little picnic alone, Hornhead! Well, that didn't go well. Apollo, you have to take a more aggressive approach with people like her. He's probably right. Now, back to my testimony. I don't think so! Time for me to be a real dick!
Hold it!
Okay... Yes. Your Benevolence! Let's have some details. The more the better. Details, you say? For example, are you sure you didn't see anyone in the royal residence before 2:30? Well, is that a yes or a no? Foreign devil! I've been gazing upon the courtyard since about 2 yesterday. Yet I saw none other than my father. If only I had stopped him then. I think you've struck a nerve, or rather, obliterated one. Maybe I pressed a little too hard. Still, that last statement seemed a little off somehow. So you didn't see anyone except your father in the courtyard after 2 p.m. Please add that to your testimony, Your Benevolence. I had been gazing upon the courtyard since about 2, but father was the only one I saw. We'll see about that. Let's see what we got up in my evidence. I mean, it could be this, but I kind of doubt it.
Objection!
Yep, that's not right. Okay. Okay.
Hold it!
Is the royal residence always so empty? Naturally, it's where the royal family lives, and we are few in number. Besides Nana and the little birds who visit, I have no one else to talk to. Is there anything more stereotypically princessy than talking to birds? So, Nana wasn't around at all yesterday. It seems she was quite busy. I was all alone the entire day. It's been like that a lot lately. Rafa doesn't go to school, so she probably doesn't have any close friends. She must lead a rather solitary life. I guess being a princess isn't all it's cracked up to be. Rafa, I shall buy you a new servant. I don't want you to buy me a servant like some sort of pet. I want Nena. I'm beginning to see why Rafa turned out like she did. Your Benevolence, please tell us about what happened after you saw your father. Well, it was around 2:30 when I saw him heading for the tomb. Then at about 2:45, I saw Barbed Head and company.
Hold it!
Yes, I believe that's around when we arrived. Mr. Wright, Athena, Dirk, and I were running toward the tomb. Yes, I was taken aback as we don't normally see commoners in the palace courtyard. Even more shocking was that Dirk, a wanted man, was with you. Yeah, I suppose so. I thought the villainous leader of the Defiant Dragons was here with his minions. Because it was, you know, time for a revolution. I think you've been watching too much of that TV show. I have already banned its broadcast for containing content unsuitable for our kingdom. Besides, the actress playing Rafa looked nothing like her. I can't have my subjects feeling so disappointed when they see the real Rafa. Damn, that's cold-blooded! Why are you so cruel to me? Are you so ashamed? Once I'm all grown up, I shall be just as full-figured as that actress. She's placing all her hopes on one final growth spurt. For her sake, I hope it's in her DNA. Sure, I mean, Garen's good-looking. Inga looks like McCree, a buff McCree, he's good-looking. Things are gonna be just fine. I suppose you could always hope for a miracle. Ooh, I'll show you! I shall double my milk intake and grow up big and strong! There, Your Benevolence. I think you're fine just the way you are. Now, may I ask that you continue with your testimony? I wish I could grow up faster. Nah, you don't want that. I saw no one go in or out of the tomb after my father entered at 2:30.
Hold it!
Is it possible you missed seeing someone pass through? No, my veranda has a commanding view of the entire grounds, and I saw no one else. But that doesn't seem right somehow. Do not underestimate my daughter. She may be lacking elsewhere, but her eyes are the finest. Lacking elsewhere? She's saying you're lacking in the boob department. Very rude. Talk about a mother I'd never wish on my worst enemy. She needs Nada now more than ever. Rafa didn't see anybody in the royal residence area after 2 p.m. That's a really long time to just look out a courtyard. She was probably lost in thought. She's at the age where I'm sure she's got a lot on her mind. What could it be? Bum bum. Ba ba ba. What could it be? At around 2 p.m., Dats leapt out of a bizarre manhole. Well, well, well.
Objection!
Ah, what? Alright, hold on. It's just the wrong statement. Okay, hold on. The right evidence for the wrong statement. But I could get a free consult, which I don't mind. Is it that obvious? Well, I've been watching you defend since you first started, so yeah. And from where I sit, I wonder if there isn't something about that one statement. Now that you mentioned it. Thanks, Mr. Wright. Now to take a look at the evidence. Present. Right over here.
Objection!
Your Benevolence. You're covering for someone, aren't you? Aye. I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, Rafa, but you're not gonna like this. Well, the thing is, I have a statement here that you might find interesting. It's from a witness who claims that, around 2 p.m., his dog got loose and ran into the palace courtyard. That's when the little fellow stole this hat from someone. That's Naina's. I mean, nothing, never mind. You fool of a daughter. It seems the princess made a blunder. So let me get this straight. This is Naina's hat, which means she had to have been in the royal residence at around 2. If so, then you had to have seen Naina sometime after 2 p.m. yesterday. No! Please, your benevolence, tell us what you really saw. It is as you say, Hornhead. I saw Naina. And I saw that dingbat dog steal her hat from her in front of my father's residence. I knew it. Why didn't you say so in the first place? Because my mother told me not to. What? Would you care to explain, Your Eminence? I request that she withhold said information, for it is of no relevance to this case.
Objection!
You don't get to decide. If you disagree, then prove that it is relevant to the case at hand. Oh, I will. Your benevolence, please tell us everything you witnessed when you saw Naina. Alright. When I saw that dingbat dog attack Naina, I ran to help. I raced from my second floor veranda down into the courtyard. That means that while you were coming down, you took your eyes off the courtyard. Yes, but only for a moment. This is crucial testimony. If you took your eyes off the courtyard, it means somebody else could have entered the tomb without you ever knowing. Your benevolence, are you sure no one else was there? Yes. She's hiding something again. What about Naina? Were you able to help her? When I got down to the courtyard, Naina was gone. Gone. And I never saw her again after that. Any idea what happened? That dingbat dog must have gobbled her up. I seriously doubt that. But how could Naina simply disappear while Rafa wasn't looking? Rafa must know something. The only question is, why Naina disappeared? Why do you suppose Naina disappeared? Even an educated guess would help. For example, maybe she got fed up with you acting like a spoiled child. Really? You know, something like that. Such impudence! Naina would not leave me merely for acting spoiled. You're not even gonna deny your behavior. In any case, it seems I was wrong. Moving right along. Do you have any idea where she disappeared to? What do you mean? Well, during the time you took your eyes off the courtyard, someone could have headed into the tomb. And it just so happens that Naina disappeared right at that moment. No. You think Naina had something to do with the murder? I don't think we can rule it out. It sounds like something had kept Naina occupied since the early morning. Plus, she was seen right before the murder and then seemed to vanish into thin air. You're right. And since she's Rafa's attendant, she could come and go as she pleased within the palace grounds. Could Rafa's attendant really be the killer? But that would mean... first my father and now Naina. These were the people I trusted most. How could this be?
Objection!
Do not heed their lies. Lawyers are a foul breed, quick to claim that a third party's to blame for a crime. Nana did not enter the tomb. That much is certain. How can you be so sure? When Nana's hat was stolen, that crazed curse spilled an urn full of water upon my husband's doorstep. Is that not right? Yes, it is. While that dingbat dog was tugging on Nana's hat, it tipped over the urn. The bottoms of her shoes would have been soaked with water, and if she had truly headed into the tomb with wet shoes, she would have left shoe prints along the way. That makes sense, but we'll have to figure out the rest of this story tomorrow for the next episode. So stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.